I've spent 15 years on my knees scrubbing the floors of Ridgemont High School in Columbus, Ohio. 15 years waking up at 4:47 a.m., driving through the dark to clean toilets and mop hallways before the students arrive. 15 years of invisible labor so my daughter Chelsea could have everything I never did. My name is Lorraine Booker. I'm 41 years old, a widow, and a janitor. And 2 nights ago, my 18-year-old daughter looked me in the eye and said, "I embarrassed the family." It happened in our kitchen. We were arguing about her prom dress, a midnight blue gown with silver beading that cost $340. I'd paid for it in 6 installments, picking up extra shifts, icing my swollen knees every night. Chelsea was complaining that I wouldn't come to the pre-prom photos at the Westbrook estate, that upscale venue where all the rich parents take pictures with their perfectly dressed kids. It's for parents who... She trailed off, scrolling through her phone like she couldn't even look at me. I made her finish the sentence. I shouldn't have, but I did. Mom, you embarrass the family. Everyone at school knows you clean toilets. Do you know what that's like for me? The wooden spoon in my hand felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. I stood there at the stove, looking at this stranger in my daughter's body, this girl I'd sacrificed everything for. And something inside me broke. Not the crying kind of broken, the quiet kind, the kind that changes you. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I just nodded and said, "Okay." The next morning, while Chelsea slept in, I made 3 phone calls. First, the boutique. I need to cancel the final payment on my daughter's prom dress. Second, the salon. Cancel the appointment for Chelsea Booker. Saturday at 2 wow. Third, the limo company. The one Chelsea had booked without asking, using the credit card I'd given her for emergencies. Cancel it. I don't care about the deposit. Then I sat at my kitchen table with my coffee, the same chipped mug my late husband Marcus bought me at a gas station during our honeymoon 20 years ago. And I waited. At 11 a.m., Chelsea's phone started ringing. By noon, she was screaming my name from upstairs. By 1:00 p.m., she was standing in front of me, mascara running, her phone clutched in her shaking hand like a weapon. "What did you do?" she demanded. I looked up at her calmly, my coffee still warm in my hands. I stopped embarrassing the family. Her face went white. You canceled everything? Everything. Mom, prom is tomorrow. How am I supposed to? I don't know, Chelsea, but you're smart. You'll figure it out. This is insane. You can't just... Everyone's going to think I'm a freak. I set down my mug and stood up, looking her directly in the eyes. Then I guess you should have thought about that before you told your friends I embarrass you. The color drained from her face. She opened her mouth, closed it, then ran upstairs. I heard her door slam so hard the pictures on the wall rattled. All afternoon, my phone rang. The boutique, confused about why Chelsea had shown up trying to pick up a dress that hadn't been paid for. The salon, asking if we wanted to reschedule. The limo company, dealing with an hysterical teenager who insisted there had been a mistake. Chelsea sent me text after text. "Mom, where are you? Call me right now. Why are you doing this to me? Everyone is going to laugh at me. Please, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Just please fix this." I read every single one, and I didn't respond to any of them. For 15 years, I've cleaned up everyone else's messes. I've scrubbed away their dirt, their carelessness, their disrespect. I've made everything pristine for kids who don't even know my name. I've swallowed my pride, ignored the way they look through me like I'm invisible, accepted my place at the bottom of the ladder, all because I thought I was doing it for something bigger, for someone who mattered, for my daughter. But somewhere along the way, I forgot to teach her the most important lesson, that love without respect is just servitude, that grace freely given can be taken for granted, that the hands that clean toilets are the same hands that held her when she cried, that fed her when she was hungry, that worked themselves raw so she could wear a crown. My husband Marcus used to say I was the strongest person he knew. He died in a construction accident when Chelsea was 3 months old, and I've spent the last 18 years trying to be strong enough for both of us. Strong enough to work 2 jobs. Strong enough to smile through the exhaustion. Strong enough to give her everything. But I forgot that sometimes strength means saying no. Sometimes it means letting someone fall so they can learn to stand on their own. So now I'm sitting in my living room, watching the sun set through the window, listening to my daughter sob in her bedroom upstairs. Every instinct in my body is screaming at me to go to her, to fix this, to make the calls and undo everything. To be the mother I've always been, the one who solves problems, who sacrifices, who puts her child's happiness above everything else. But I'm not moving, because this isn't about a prom dress or a limo or a party. This is about a girl who needs to learn that the people who love you aren't there to be ashamed of. This is about teaching my daughter that dignity isn't measured by your job title or your paycheck. It's measured by how you treat people, especially the ones who would do anything for you. Tomorrow is prom day. Tomorrow, Chelsea will have to face her friends without the perfect dress, without the hair and makeup appointment, without the limousine. Tomorrow, she'll have to figure out what matters more, looking good or being good. And tomorrow, I'll find out if I made the right choice, or if I just broke my daughter's heart beyond repair. But tonight, I'm sitting here with my cold coffee and my calloused hands, and for the first time in 15 years, I'm not cleaning up someone else's mess. I'm teaching my daughter what it means to clean up her own. The alarm goes off at 4:47 a.m., same as it has for 15 years. I don't hit snooze anymore. Haven't in over a decade. My body knows the rhythm before my brain does. The house is still dark, still quiet except for the furnace clicking on in the basement and the soft hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen below. I swing my legs out of bed, feel the cold hardwood under my feet, and reach for the same gray hoodie I've worn every morning since Marcus died. It still smells faintly of the lavender detergent I buy in bulk from Costco. Columbus in early May is unpredictable. Some mornings it's warm enough to leave the windows cracked. Others, like today, there's frost clinging to the grass outside. I can see it from my bedroom window. Our backyard, small and fenced in, with the rusted swing set Marcus installed when Chelsea was 4. She hasn't touched it in years, but I can't bring myself to take it down. Maybe that makes me sentimental. Maybe it makes me foolish. I pull on my work pants, navy blue, polyester with reinforced knees, and lace up my sneakers. White New Balance, the kind nurses wear. Comfortable, practical, the kind of shoes people don't notice unless they're looking down, which most people aren't. I tie my hair back into a bun so tight it pulls at my temples, grab my badge from the dresser, and head downstairs. The kitchen is my favorite room in this house. It's small, outdated. The countertops are that speckled beige laminate from the 90s, and the cabinets are oak veneer that's peeling near the handles. But it's mine. Marcus and I picked out the rooster-patterned curtains together at a yard sale the summer before he died. I've replaced them twice since then, but I always buy the same pattern. Some things you don't change. I make coffee in the same Mr. Coffee machine I got as a wedding gift. It's loud, takes forever, but it works. While it brews, I stand at the sink and look out the window into the backyard. The sky is starting to lighten, deep purple fading to soft pink along the edges. There's a cardinal on the fence post, bright red against the gray wood. I watch it for a moment, and I think about Marcus. He loved cardinals, said they were good luck. I stopped believing in luck a long time ago, but I still like seeing them. The coffee finishes with a sputter. I pour it into the mug Marcus got me, white ceramic with "World's Okayest Wife" written in fading blue letters. He bought it at a truck stop in Lexington, Kentucky during our honeymoon. We'd driven down to visit his cousin, stayed in a motel with a broken air conditioner and a vending machine that only sold Fritos. We didn't have money for anything fancy, but we had each other. And back then, that felt like enough. I take my coffee black. No sugar, no cream. Chelsea says it tastes like battery acid, but I like the bitterness. It wakes me up in a way nothing else does. I sit at the kitchen table for exactly 7 minutes, long enough to finish half the cup, and then I grab my keys, my lunch bag, and my coat. The Honda is parked in the driveway, covered in a thin layer of pollen. I should wash it, but I never do. What's the point? It'll just get dirty again. I unlock the door, slide into the driver's seat, and turn the key. The engine coughs once, twice, then starts. The radio comes on automatically. 88. 7 FM, the Catholic station. I don't go to Mass as often as I used to, not since Marcus died, but I like the voices in the morning. They're calm, steady. They remind me that someone, somewhere, is praying. This morning, it's Father Timothy talking about the parable of the prodigal son. I half listen as I back out of the driveway and head toward the school. He's talking about forgiveness, about the father who welcomed his son back even after he'd squandered everything. Grace, Father Timothy says, is not about what we deserve. It's about what God gives freely, even when we've turned our backs. I think about Chelsea, about the way she looked at me last night, about the words that came out of her mouth like poison. You embarrass the family. I grip the steering wheel tighter. Ridgemont High sits on the east side of Columbus off Route 161, tucked between a strip mall and a neighborhood of modest ranch houses. It's not the worst school in the district, but it's not the best either. The building itself is a relic from the 70s. Flat-roofed, beige brick, with narrow windows that don't open all the way. There's a faded mural on the side of the gymnasium that says, "Home of the Ridgemont Ravens." But half the letters have peeled off. Now it just says, "Home of the Ridge Raven," which the kids think is hilarious. I pull into the staff parking lot at 5:32 a.m. There are only 3 other cars here. Mr. Daniels, the assistant principal, always gets here early, Coach Warner, who uses the gym before school starts, and Diane, the other custodian, who works the north wing while I handle the south. Diane's been here longer than I have. 23 years. She's got grandkids now, 3 of them, and she talks about them constantly. I don't mind. It's nice to hear about kids who turned out okay. I park in my usual spot, 3rd row from the building, and grab my things. The air is cold enough that I can see my breath. I pull my coat tighter and walk toward the side entrance, the one near the boiler room. My badge beeps when I scan it, and the door clicks open. The hallway inside is dark except for the emergency exit lights glowing green above the doors. It smells like floor wax and industrial cleaner. Smells I don't even notice anymore. They're just part of me now, like the ache in my lower back or the calluses on my palms. I head to the custodial closet first. It's a narrow room crammed with mops, brooms, buckets, bottles of bleach, and rolls of paper towels stacked to the ceiling. There's a metal desk in the corner where we log our hours and a bulletin board covered in OSHA posters that no one reads. I clock in, grab my cart, and start my rounds. South wing first. Classrooms 101 through 118. I unlock each door with my master key, flip on the lights, and get to work. Empty the trash cans, wipe down the desks, sweep the floors, check for gum under the chairs. There's always gum. Sometimes I find notes too, folded up and left behind. Most of them are harmless. Inside jokes, doodles, declarations of love, written in loopy handwriting. I throw them away without reading too much. It's not my business. Room 110 is Mrs. Keller's English class. She decorates her walls with posters of famous authors, Hemingway, Faulkner, Maya Angelou, and quotes about the power of words. There's one above her desk that I see every morning. There is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. I don't know who said it, but it sticks with me. Room 114 is where Chelsea has calculus. I know because I've seen her backpack in there before, the purple one with the pins all over it. This morning the room is empty, but I can still picture her sitting in the 3rd row, scrolling through her phone while Mr. Park writes equations on the board. She's smart. Too smart to waste time on boys and parties, but that's all she seems to care about lately. When did that happen? When did my daughter, the one who used to read chapter books under the covers with a flashlight, turn into someone who spends 2 hours getting ready just to go to the grocery store? I finish the classrooms by 7:15 and move on to the bathrooms. This is the part of the job most people can't stomach, but I don't mind it. There's something honest about cleaning a bathroom. It's dirty, it's unpleasant, but when you're done, it's clean. Simple. No pretending. The girls' bathroom near the cafeteria is the worst. There's graffiti on the stalls, names, numbers, crude drawings. Someone wrote, "Jessica H. is a slut" in thick black marker. I scrub at it with a magic eraser, but it doesn't come off completely. I'll have to report it to Mr. Daniels. Maybe they'll paint over it. Maybe they won't. I'm on my knees scrubbing the tile around the toilets when I hear voices in the hallway. It's still early, not quite 7:30, but some kids come in before first period to hang out. I recognize one of the voices, high-pitched, confident, Chelsea. I swear to God, Ava, if he doesn't ask me to prom, I'm going to die. I freeze. The mop handle is still in my hand, dripping soapy water onto the floor. He's going to ask you, another voice says. Ava Chen, Chelsea's best friend since middle school. You're literally prom queen. He'd be stupid not to. I know, but what if he chickens out? What if he asks someone else? They're right outside the bathroom door now. I stay perfectly still, hidden in the stall, and listen. Chels, relax. You look amazing. Your dress is going to be insane. Everyone's going to be obsessed. I hope so. My mom's been so weird about it, though. Like, she keeps asking how much everything costs, and I'm like, Mom, it's prom. It's supposed to be expensive. Ava laughs. Parents are so annoying. My mom tried to make me wear her old prom dress from, like, the 90s. I was like, Mom, I love you, but absolutely not. Chelsea laughs too. At least your mom isn't. I don't know. I just wish mine had a normal job, you know? Like something I could actually talk about without feeling weird. There's a pause. I hold my breath. What does your mom do again? Ava asks. Another pause. Longer this time. She works at the school, Chelsea says finally. Her voice is quieter now. Careful. Oh, like a teacher? No, she's maintenance. Oh. That single syllable lands like a stone in my chest. It's fine, Chelsea says quickly. It's just, I don't really talk about it, you know? Totally, Ava says. That makes sense. They walk away, their voices fading down the hallway, and I'm left alone in the bathroom with my mop and my bucket and the ghost of my daughter's shame. I finish cleaning mechanically. I don't think. I just move, scrub, rinse, repeat. By the time I'm done, my hands are raw and my knees are screaming, but I don't care. I push the cart back to the closet, lock everything up, and head to the break room. Diana's already there, eating a bagel and reading a romance novel with a shirtless man on the cover. She looks up when I walk in. Morning, Lorraine? You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I force a smile. I'm fine. Just tired. She nods, unconvinced, but doesn't push. Diane's good like that. She knows when to leave things alone. I sit down at the table and pull out my lunch. Turkey sandwich, apple, string cheese. The same thing I bring every day. I eat half the sandwich without tasting it, then throw the rest away. My stomach feels like it's tied in knots. At 8 hours, the bell rings, and the hallways flood with kids. I stay in the break room until the noise dies down, then head back out to finish my morning rounds. I see Chelsea once, between second and third period, walking with Ava and a group of girls I don't know. She doesn't see me. Or maybe she does and pretends not to. I can't tell anymore. That afternoon, I get home at 3:45. Chelsea's car, a used Toyota Corolla I bought her last year after she got her license, is already in the driveway. I park behind it and sit in the Honda for a minute, gathering myself. The radio is still on. Father Timothy is gone, replaced by a woman talking about the rosary. I turn it off and head inside. Chelsea is in the living room, sprawled on the couch with her phone. She doesn't look up when I walk in. Hey, I say. Hey. I set my bag down and head to the kitchen. There's a note on the counter in her handwriting. Can you pick up my dress tomorrow? They called and said it's ready. I stare at the note for a long time. Then I fold it carefully and put it in my pocket. Chelsea? I call. Yeah? Can you come here for a second? She sighs, loud enough for me to hear, but gets up and walks into the kitchen. She's wearing leggings and an oversized sweatshirt, her hair piled on top of her head in a messy bun. She looks so much like Marcus, it hurts. What? She asks, leaning against the counter. I wanted to talk to you about prom. She rolls her eyes. Mom, I already told you, you don't have to come to pictures, it's fine. It's not about pictures. Then what? I take a breath. I wanted to make sure you understand how much this cost. I know, Mom, I know it's expensive, but it's prom. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And you understand I worked a lot of extra hours to pay for it? She shifts uncomfortably. Yeah, I appreciate it. I really do. Do you? She looks at me, confused. What do you mean? I heard you this morning in the hallway, talking to Ava. Her face goes pale. You heard that? Every word. She opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. Mom, I didn't mean... What did you mean then? I don't know. It's complicated. Is it? Yes. She throws her hands up. You don't understand what it's like, okay? Everyone at school has parents who are doctors or lawyers or whatever, and I have to explain that my mom cleans bathrooms. Do you know how that feels? Do you know how it feels, I say quietly, to work your fingers to the bone so your daughter can have everything and then have her tell her friends she's ashamed of you? Tears well up in her eyes, but I don't stop. I have scrubbed toilets for 15 years, Chelsea. I've mopped up vomit and gum and God knows what else. I've done it with a smile because I thought I was doing it for you. Because I thought you understood that honest work isn't something to be ashamed of. But I was wrong, wasn't I? Mom, I want you to think very carefully, I say, my voice steady, about who you want to be. Because right now, I don't recognize you. She's crying now, full-on sobbing, but I turn and walk away. I go upstairs to my room, close the door, and sit on the edge of the bed. My hands are shaking. I pull out my phone and stare at it for a long time. Then I start making calls. First, the boutique. Hi, this is Lorraine Booker. I need to cancel the final payment on my daughter's prom dress. The woman on the other end sounds confused. Cancel? But the dress is ready for pickup. I understand. I'm canceling the payment. You can keep the deposit. Ma'am, if you don't pay the balance, we can't release the dress. I know. Next, the salon. Hi, I need to cancel an appointment for Chelsea Booker. Saturday at 2 Dows. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. I just need to cancel. Finally, the limo company. This one's trickier because Chelsea booked it herself using the credit card I gave her for emergencies. I explain the situation to the dispatcher, who tells me they have a 48-hour cancellation policy. That's fine, I say. Cancel it anyway. You'll lose the deposit. I don't care. When I'm done, I set the phone on the nightstand and lie back on the bed. The ceiling fan turns slowly above me, the same way it has for years. Outside, I can hear a dog barking, a car door slamming. The world keeps moving, indifferent to everything. I close my eyes and think about Marcus, about the way he used to hold me after long days, his hands rough from construction work but gentle when they touched my face. He used to say, "Lorraine, you're the strongest person I know." I didn't believe him then. I'm not sure I believe him now. But I know one thing. I'm done being invisible. Tomorrow, Chelsea will learn what it means to stand on her own 2 feet. And maybe, just maybe, she'll finally see me. I don't sleep that night. I lie in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the house settle around me. The creak of floorboards, the hum of the water heater, the distant sound of Chelsea moving around in her room. Around midnight, I hear her footsteps in the hallway. She stops outside my door. I hold my breath, waiting, but she doesn't knock. After a moment, she goes back to her room, and I hear her door close softly. At 4:47 a.m., my alarm goes off like it always does. I reach over and silence it, then lie there for another minute, gathering the strength to face another day. My body feels heavier than usual, like someone's poured concrete into my bones. But I get up anyway. I always get up. The morning routine is the same. Coffee. Toast. The drive to school in the dark. But everything feels different now, like I'm watching myself from a distance. When I pull into the parking lot at Ridgemont High, I sit in the car for a moment longer than usual, my hands still on the steering wheel. The radio is playing a hymn I remember from childhood, "Be Not Afraid." My grandmother used to sing it while she did the dishes. Her voice cracked but steady. "Be not afraid. I go before you always. Come, follow me, and I will give you rest." I close my eyes and let the words wash over me. Then I turn off the ignition and go inside. The day passes in a blur. I clean the same hallways, the same classrooms, the same bathrooms. I see Chelsea once, between 3rd and 4th period. She's with her friends again, laughing at something on Ava's phone. When she sees me pushing my cart down the hallway, her smile falters. Our eyes meet for half a second, and then she looks away. I keep walking. At lunch, I sit in the break room with Diane. She's telling me about her grandson's baseball game, how he hit a double in the 9th inning and drove in the winning run. I nod and smile in the right places. But I'm not really listening. My mind is somewhere else. "Lorraine?" Diane's voice cuts through the fog. "You sure you're okay? You've been off all week." I look at her, really look at her. Diane's got kind eyes, the kind that have seen a lot and judged nothing. She's wearing her wedding ring, a simple gold band she's worn for 41 years. Her husband, Tommy, is a plumber. They raised 4 kids on 2 working-class incomes, and all 4 of them turned out fine. One's a teacher, one's a nurse, one runs a landscaping business, and the youngest is in the Army. Diane talks about them with pride that's uncomplicated, unashamed. "Can I ask you something?" I say. "Of course." "Did your kids were they ever embarrassed by what you do?" Diane sets down her sandwich and looks at me for a long moment. "You heard something. It's not a question." I nod. "Chelsea?" I nod again. Diane sighs. "Kids can be cruel even when they don't mean to be, especially teenagers. They're so worried about what everyone thinks. They forget to think about what matters." She told her friend I embarrassed the family. The words hang in the air between us. Diane reaches across the table and squeezes my hand. "Listen to me," she says. "What you do, what we do, it's honest work. It's hard work, and there's no shame in it. None. If Chelsea can't see that, it's because she's still got some growing up to do." "I know," I whisper, "but it still hurts." "Of course it does. She's your baby." Diane squeezes my hand again, then lets go. "But you know what? Sometimes kids need to learn the hard way. Sometimes they need to fall down before they figure out how to stand up." I think about the phone calls I made last night, about the dress that won't be picked up, about the appointments that won't be kept. Maybe you're right, I say. When I get home that afternoon, Chelsea's car is gone. There's a note on the kitchen counter. Going to Ava's. Be back later. I crumple the note and throw it in the trash. Then I heat up leftover chicken and rice, eat half of it standing at the counter, and go upstairs to take a shower. The hot water feels good on my aching muscles, but it doesn't wash away the knot in my chest. After I dry off and get dressed, I sit on my bed and stare at my phone. No calls, no texts. Chelsea hasn't tried to reach me all day. Part of me is relieved. Part of me is heartbroken. I think about calling my sister, Angela, who lives in Atlanta with her husband and their 2 boys. Angela's always been the successful one. Went to college, got a degree in business, works for a marketing firm downtown. We talk once a month, maybe less. The last time we spoke, she asked if Chelsea had decided on a college yet, and when I told her Chelsea was still weighing her options, Angela said, "Well, she better decide soon. The good schools fill up fast." As if I didn't know that. As if I haven't been researching financial aid packages and scholarship deadlines for months. I don't call Angela. Instead, I open the photo album on my phone and scroll back through the years. Chelsea as a baby, chubby and bald, wrapped in the yellow blanket my mother crocheted for her. Chelsea at 3, missing her front teeth, grinning at the camera in her Halloween costume. A princess, of course. Chelsea at 10, holding the trophy she won at the science fair for her project on renewable energy. Chelsea at 16, standing in front of the Toyota Corolla on the day I gave her the keys, her face lit up with pure joy. When did everything change? When did she start looking at me differently? I close the photo album and set the phone aside. Then I kneel beside my bed, fold my hands, and try to pray. The words don't come easily. They never do anymore. But I try. God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but I'm tired. I'm so tired of feeling like I'm not enough. Please. Just help me know what to do. Help her see. Help both of us. I stay there for a while, kneeling on the hard floor until my knees start to ache and I have to stand up. I don't feel any better, but I don't feel worse either. That's something. Chelsea comes home around 9 p.m. I'm in the living room pretending to watch a rerun of Law & Order on TNT. She walks in, drops her bag by the door, and heads straight for the stairs. "Chelsea," I call. She stops, one foot on the first step. "Yeah? Can we talk?" "I'm really tired, Mom. Can it wait?" "No." She sighs and turns around, crossing her arms. "What?" I mute the TV and stand up. "I need you to sit down." "Mom, I really don't." "Sit. Down." Something in my voice makes her obey. She sits on the edge of the couch as far from me as possible and stares at her hands. I sit in the armchair across from her. "I want you to understand something. When your father died, I made a promise. I promised him, and I promised myself, that I would give you the best life I could, that you would have opportunities I never had, that you would go to college, have a career, build something meaningful." She's not looking at me, but I keep going. "I worked 2 jobs when you were little. I cleaned houses during the day and worked nights at the diner on High Street. I came home smelling like grease and bleach, and I would kiss you goodnight even though I was so tired I could barely stand. And you know what? I was happy, because I was doing it for you." "What, Mom?" I'm not finished. My voice is firm but not loud. "When you got older and I got the job at Ridgemont, I thought it was perfect. Same hours as your school day, summers off, benefits. I could be there when you needed me. But somewhere along the way, you started seeing my job as something to be ashamed of. And that breaks my heart, Chelsea. It really does." Now she looks at me, and there are tears in her eyes. "I didn't mean it like that." "Then how did you mean it?" "I don't know. I didn't want people to think less of me." "Why would they think less of you?" "Because." She throws her hands up, frustrated. "Because everyone else's parents are somebody, and mine is. I don't know, just a janitor." I finish for her. She flinches. "I didn't say that. You didn't have to." We sit in silence for a long moment. The TV flickers in the background, casting shadows on the walls. "I canceled the dress," I say finally. Her head snaps up. "What?" "I canceled the final payment, and the salon appointment, and the limo." She stares at me like I've just spoken a foreign language. You what?" "I called yesterday and canceled everything." "Why would you do that?" Her voice is rising now, edging toward panic. "Mom, Prom is in 2 days. I know. You can't just. This isn't fair. Fair? I lean forward. You want to talk about fair? Is it fair that I worked 60-hour weeks so you could have a dress that costs more than my mortgage payment? Is it fair that I sacrificed everything so you could have the perfect prom, and in return, you told your friends I embarrass you? I didn't mean it. Yes, you did. I stand up. You meant every word. And now you're going to learn what it's like to take care of yourself. She's on her feet now, too, tears streaming down her face. I hate you. The words should hurt more than they do, but I've been preparing for them. I've been carrying them around in my chest since yesterday, turning them over, getting used to their weight. That's okay, I say quietly. You can hate me, but you're going to respect me. This is insane. She's pacing now, her hands in her hair. How am I supposed to go to prom without a dress? Without hair and makeup? Everyone's going to think I'm a freak. Then I guess you'll have to figure it out. She stops pacing and stares at me, her face red and blotchy. I can't believe you're doing this. You're ruining my life. I'm teaching you a lesson. You're being cruel. No, I say, and my voice is steady. I'm being a mother. She stares at me for another moment, then turns and runs upstairs. A few seconds later, I hear her door slam so hard the whole house shakes. I sit back down in the armchair and stare at the muted TV. My hands are trembling. My heart is pounding. But I don't regret it. Not yet. The next day is Friday, the day before prom. I go to work like normal, but the weight of what's coming presses down on me all morning. I keep checking my phone, expecting texts from Chelsea, but there's nothing. Radio silence. At lunch, my phone finally rings, but it's not Chelsea. It's a number I don't recognize. I answer it anyway. Is this Lorraine Booker? Yes, who's this? This is Melanie from Bella's Boutique. I'm calling about your daughter's prom dress. My stomach tightens. What about it? Well, she came in this morning trying to pick it up, but according to our records, the final payment hasn't been made. She was quite upset and said there must be some mistake. There's no mistake, I say. I canceled the payment. There's a pause. Oh, I see. Well, she's asking if there's any way to work out a payment plan. But our policy? Keep the deposit, I interrupt. Consider it yours. But I'm not paying the balance. I understand. I'll let her know. Thank you. I hang up and sit there staring at my half-eaten sandwich. My phone rings again almost immediately. This time it's the salon. Mrs. Booker? This is Tiffany from Glamour and Grace. Your daughter just called asking about her appointment tomorrow, but we don't have her in the system. Did you want to reschedule? No, I say. The appointment was canceled. Oh, okay. She seemed really confused. She said it was for prom? It was, but not anymore. All right, well, if you change your mind, just give us a call. I won't, but thank you. Another hang-up, another breath. I look at my phone and see 3 missed calls from Chelsea and 2 text messages. Chelsea. Mom, where are you? Chelsea. Call me right now. I don't respond. I finish my lunch, throw away the trash, and go back to work. At 3:30, just as I'm finishing up the South Wing bathrooms, my phone rings again. This time it's a number I do recognize. The limo company. Ms. Booker, this is Derek from Classic Rides. I'm calling because we had a young lady come into our office this afternoon asking about a reservation under your name. But when we pulled it up, it shows as canceled. She's insisting it wasn't supposed to be canceled and that there's been some kind of error. I close my eyes. There's no error. I canceled it. I see. Well, she's asking if we can reinstate the reservation, but since we're within 48 hours of the event, we'd need full payment upfront, plus a late fee. Tell her no. Are you sure? She seems pretty distressed. I'm sure. All right then. I'll let her know. I hang up and lean against the wall, suddenly exhausted. My phone buzzes with another text. Chelsea. Why are you doing this to me? Chelsea. Everyone is going to laugh at me. Chelsea. Please, Mom. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, just please fix this. I stare at the messages for a long time. My finger hovers over the keyboard. Part of me wants to give in, to call the boutique and the salon and the limo company and undo everything. Part of me wants to wrap my daughter in my arms and tell her it's okay, that I'll fix it, that I'll always fix it. But I don't. Instead, I type, "You should have thought about that before you said what you said." I hit send and turn off my phone. When I get home that evening, Chelsea's car is in the driveway, but the house is eerily quiet. I walk inside and call her name. No answer. I find her in her room, lying face down on her bed, still in her school clothes. Her face is buried in a pillow and her shoulders are shaking. She's been crying. I stand in the doorway for a moment, unsure what to do. Then I walk over and sit on the edge of her bed. Chelsea. She doesn't move. Chelsea, look at me. Slowly, she lifts her head. Her eyes are red and swollen, her face blotchy. She looks younger than 18, more like the little girl who used to crawl into my bed during thunderstorms. I messed up, she whispers. Yes, I say. You did. I didn't mean it. I swear I didn't. But you said it. I know. Fresh tears spill down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry. I reach out and brush a strand of hair from her face. Why did you say it, Chelsea? Why did you let your friends make you feel ashamed of me? She sits up, wrapping her arms around her knees. Because I'm stupid. Because I care too much about what people think. Because... She trails off, staring at the wall. Because what? Because I was scared, she says quietly. I was scared that if people knew what you did, they'd think less of me. That they'd think I was less than them. And now I realize I'm the one who's less. She looks at me, and her voice breaks. You've done everything for me, and I threw it in your face. I don't deserve you. I take her hand. You're right, you don't. She flinches, but I keep going. But that's not how love works. Love isn't about what we deserve. It's about what we give, even when it's hard, even when it hurts. I don't know how to fix this, she whispers. You can't, I say. Not tonight. But you can start by understanding that my job, what I do every single day, isn't something to be ashamed of. It's honest work, it's hard work, and I do it with dignity. If you can't see that, then you're not ready for the world. She nods, wiping her eyes. What about prom? What about it? Am I still going? I look at her for a long moment. I don't know, Chelsea, are you? I don't have a dress or a limo or anything. Then I guess you'll have to figure it out. Her face crumples. Please, Mom, please don't do this. I'll do anything. This isn't about punishment, I say gently. This is about you learning to stand on your own 2 feet, to solve your own problems, to understand that actions have consequences. But how am I supposed to? I don't know, I interrupt. But I have faith that you'll figure it out. I stand up and walk to the door. Before I leave, I turn back to her. Chelsea, I love you. I will always love you. But I will not always fix your messes. At some point, you have to learn to fix them yourself. I close the door behind me and walk downstairs, my heart breaking with every step. The Weight of Clean Hands, Part 4, Fall and Emotional Resolution. That night, I lie awake listening to Chelsea move around in her room. I hear drawers opening and closing, the rustle of hangers in her closet, the soft thud of something hitting the floor. Around midnight, I hear her crying again, quiet, muffled sobs that she's trying to hide. Every instinct in my body screams at me to go to her, to comfort her, to make it all better. But I don't move. I stay in my bed, staring at the ceiling, and let her sit with her choices. At some point, I must fall asleep, because when I open my eyes again, pale gray light is filtering through the curtains. It's Saturday, prom day. I reach for my phone on the nightstand and see that it's 6:23 a.m. No alarm today, it's my day off. But my body doesn't know the difference anymore. I get up, pull on my robe, and head downstairs. The house is quiet. Chelsea's door is closed. I make coffee and sit at the kitchen table, wrapping my hands around the warm mug, and I wait. Around 8:00, I hear movement upstairs. Footsteps, the bathroom door opening and closing, the water running. Then finally, Chelsea appears in the kitchen doorway. She's wearing sweatpants and an old t-shirt from a 5K we ran together 3 years ago for her school's fundraiser. Her hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail and her face is bare of makeup. She looks exhausted. Morning, I say. Morning, she says quietly. She pours herself a cup of coffee. She started drinking it this year, though she loads it with cream and sugar, and sits down across from me. We sit in silence for a while. Outside, I can hear birds singing and the distant sound of a lawnmower. Mr. Peterson next door, probably. He mows his lawn every Saturday morning at 8:30 like clockwork. I've been thinking, Chelsea says finally. I look at her, waiting. About what you said last night. About fixing my own messes. She takes a sip of coffee, then sets the mug down carefully. I called Ava around 2 a.m. What did you tell her? I told her the truth. That I said something horrible to you. and that you canceled everything because I needed to learn a lesson. What did she say? Chelsea's eyes fill with tears, but she blinks them back. She said I was an idiot, that her mom would have done worse. And then she said, she pauses, swallowing hard. She said her mom cleans houses for a living, and she's never been ashamed of it, not once. And she asked me why I was. I feel something shift in my chest, but I stay quiet. I didn't know that, Chelsea continues, about her mom. She never told me and I never asked. And I realized that I've been so caught up in what I thought people would think that I never bothered to actually know anyone. Not really. That's a hard thing to realize, I say gently. Yeah. She wipes her eyes. Ava's letting me borrow one of her dresses. It's not the one I wanted, but it's pretty. And her mom offered to do my hair this afternoon. And a bunch of people are carpooling, so I don't need the limo. That's good, I say. But it's not about the prom, Mom. Not really. She looks at me and I see something new in her eyes. Something that looks like understanding. I'm still going to mess up. I'm still going to care too much about stupid things. But I don't want to be the kind of person who's ashamed of where she comes from. I don't want to be the kind of person who forgets what matters. I reach across the table and take her hand. Then don't be. I'm really sorry, she whispers. For everything. I know you are. Do you forgive me? I squeeze her hand. I'm your mother, Chelsea. I forgave you before you even asked. She starts crying then, really crying, and I get up and wrap my arms around her. She buries her face in my shoulder, and I hold her the way I used to when she was little, when the world was smaller and simpler, and all her problems could be solved with a hug and a Band-Aid. I love you, she says, her voice muffled against my robe. I love you too, baby. Always. We stay like that for a long time until her crying subsides and she pulls back, wiping her face with her sleeve. I'm gonna go get ready, she says. Ava's mom said to come over around 1. Okay. She starts to walk away, then turns back. Mom? Yeah? Thank you. For not giving in. For making me figure it out. I smile. You're welcome. After Chelsea leaves, I spend the morning cleaning the house. It doesn't need it. I clean compulsively, always have. But I need something to do with my hands. I vacuum the living room, dust the shelves, scrub the kitchen counters until they shine. Around noon, I make myself a sandwich and eat it standing at the sink, looking out at the backyard. The cardinal is back, perched on the fence post. I watch it for a while, and I think about Marcus, about the life we were supposed to have together, about all the moments he missed. Chelsea's first day of school, her first dance recital, her first heartbreak, this. I wonder what he would say if he could see us now. If he'd be proud of me for holding my ground, or disappointed that I let things get this far. I think he'd be proud. At least I hope he would. My phone buzzes on the counter. It's a text from Angela. Angela. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay? I stare at the message for a moment, then type back, everything's fine. Just dealing with some stuff with Chelsea. Nothing major. Angela. Teenage drama? Me. Something like that. Angela. Well, hang in there, it gets easier. I don't respond. Angela means well, but she doesn't understand. Her boys are 8 and 10, still young enough to think their mother hung the moon. She hasn't hit the years where they look at her like a stranger yet. Maybe she never will. I finish my sandwich, rinse the plate, and head upstairs to take a shower. The hot water feels good, and for the first time in days, I feel like I can breathe. At 5:30 p.m., Chelsea comes home. I hear the front door open and her footsteps on the stairs. A few minutes later, she appears in the living room doorway, and I almost don't recognize her. She's wearing a pale pink dress, simple, elegant, with thin straps and a flowing skirt. Her hair is styled in loose curls, pinned back on one side with a small cluster of pearls. Her makeup is natural, just enough to highlight her features without overwhelming them. She looks beautiful. But more than that, she looks happy. What do you think? She asks, doing a little spin. I think you look stunning, I say, and I mean it. She smiles, and it's the first real smile I've seen from her in days. Ava's mom did my hair, and Ava let me borrow these shoes. She lifts the hem of her dress to show me a pair of silver heels. They're a little big, but I stuffed tissue in the toes. You look perfect, I say. She walks over and sits down next to me on the couch. I wish you could come. To pictures, I mean. I know I said I didn't want you to, but I was wrong. I want you there. Chelsea, you don't have to. I want to, she insists. Please? It's at the Westbrook estate at 6. We're meeting there with everyone else. I look at her, searching her face for any sign of hesitation or uncertainty, but I don't see any, just sincerity. Okay, I say. I'll come. Her face lights up. Really? Really. Thank you. She hugs me quickly, then stands up. I have to finish getting ready. My ride's coming at 5:45. Who's your ride? Ava's older brother. He's driving a bunch of us. That's nice of him. Yeah, he's cool. She pauses at the doorway. You should change, though. You can't come to pictures in jeans. I laugh. Yes, ma'am. I change into the only dress I own. A navy blue sheath dress I bought for a funeral 2 years ago. It's simple, a little outdated, but it's clean and fits well enough. I put on a pair of low heels, brush my hair, and even put on a little makeup. When I look at myself in the mirror, I barely recognize the woman staring back. I look presentable, almost pretty. Chelsea's ride arrives right on time, a beat-up Honda Accord driven by a lanky kid with a nose ring and a friendly smile. Ava's in the passenger seat, and 2 other girls I don't recognize are squeezed into the back. You need a ride, Mrs. Booker? The kid asks. No, I'll drive myself, but thank you. Cool. See you there. They drive off, music blasting from the open windows, and I get into my own car and follow. The Westbrook estate is on the north side of Columbus, tucked away on a tree-lined street with old money houses and manicured lawns. It's not a real estate. It's a historical mansion that's been converted into an event venue. The house itself is Victorian, painted white with black shutters and a wraparound porch. There are string lights hanging from the trees in the front yard, and the driveway is already crowded with cars. I park on the street and walk up to the house, feeling out of place in my department store dress and sensible shoes. There are parents everywhere, mothers in designer dresses and fathers in suits, all of them laughing and taking pictures with expensive cameras. I recognize a few of them from school functions, but none of them recognize me. Or if they do, they don't acknowledge it. I find Chelsea standing near the porch with Ava and a group of other kids. When she sees me, her face lights up and she waves me over. Mom, you made it. I said I would. She grabs my hand and pulls me into the group. Everyone, this is my mom. Mom, this is everyone. There's a chorus of polite hellos, and I smile and nod, feeling awkward and out of place. But then Ava steps forward and gives me a hug. Hi, Mrs. Booker. Thanks for coming. Thank you for helping Chelsea, I say. And thank your mom for me, too. I will. A woman with a professional camera approaches the group. All right, kids, let's get some pictures. Parents, step back, please. I move to the side and watch as Chelsea and her friends pose for photos. They're laughing, teasing each other, adjusting each other's hair and dresses. Chelsea looks so happy, so carefree, and I feel a lump form in my throat. She's beautiful, a voice says beside me. I turn and see a woman about my age, maybe a little older, with kind eyes and a warm smile. She's wearing a simple dress too, nothing fancy, and comfortable flats. Thank you, I say. I'm Paula, Ava's mom. Lorraine. I shake her hand. Thank you so much for everything you did for Chelsea. The dress, the hair, she told me what you did. Paula waves a hand dismissively. It was nothing. Honestly, I'm glad Ava had someone to share with. She's got 3 older sisters, so we've got more formal dresses than we know what to do with. Still, I appreciate it. We stand in silence for a moment, watching the kids. Then Paula says, Chelsea told Ava what happened, about the dress and everything. I stiffen. She did? Don't worry, Paula says quickly. Ava didn't tell anyone else, but she told me, and I just wanted to say, I think you did the right thing. I look at her, surprised. You do? Absolutely. My oldest daughter pulled something similar when she was Chelsea's age. Told her friends I was a housekeeper, like it was some shameful secret. Like I hadn't worked my fingers to the bone to put food on the table and clothes on her back. Paula shakes her head. Kids get so caught up in appearances they forget what's real. Sometimes they need a wake-up call. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, I admit. The right thing usually is. Paula squeezes my arm, but look at her now. She's learning. That's what matters. I nod, blinking back tears. Yeah, I guess she is. The photographer finishes with the group shots and starts calling parents forward for pictures with their kids. I see Chelsea looking around, searching for me, and when our eyes meet, she waves me over. Come on, Mom. Our turn. I walk over, suddenly self-conscious, but Chelsea grabs my hand and pulls me close. The photographer adjusts his camera. All right, ladies, big smiles. I smile, and Chelsea wraps her arm around my waist and leans her head on my shoulder. The flash goes off, and for a moment, we're frozen in time. Mother and daughter, together despite everything. Beautiful, the photographer says. One more, just to be safe. This time, Chelsea turns to face me and she's smiling so wide I can see the little gap between her front teeth that she's always been self-conscious about. I love you, Mom, she says, just loud enough for me to hear. I love you too, baby. The flash goes off again, and I know, without even seeing the picture, that it's going to be my favorite. After photos, the kids pile into their various rides and head to the prom venue, a hotel ballroom downtown. I stand in the driveway with the other parents, waving as they drive away, and I feel Paula come up beside me. You sticking around for the after-party pickups? She asks. Probably not. Chelsea said she'd text me when she's ready to come home. Fair enough. They'll be out until 2 in the morning anyway. Paula smiles. You want to grab coffee? There's a diner on High Street that's open late. I hesitate. I don't really know this woman, and part of me just wants to go home and collapse into bed. But there's something about her, something warm and genuine, that makes me say yes. Sure, coffee sounds good. We end up at Stella's Diner, a 24-hour place with red vinyl booths and a jukebox in the corner that hasn't worked in years. The waitress, a tired-looking woman named Brenda, who I recognize from church, takes our order. Coffee for both of us, a slice of apple pie for Paula, nothing for me. You sure you don't want anything? Paula asks. The pie here is amazing. I'm sure, but thank you. We sit in comfortable silence for a moment, sipping our coffee, watching the late-night crowd filter in and out. A couple of truckers at the counter, a group of college kids in the corner booth, laughing too loud. An elderly man by the window reading a newspaper. So, Paula says finally, how long have you been at Ridgemont? 15 years. 15 years, she repeats, impressed. That's a long time. It is, but it's stable, good benefits, and I get to keep an eye on Chelsea. Paula nods. I clean houses, have for 20 years. Started doing it when my oldest was born and never stopped. People always ask me when I'm going to get a real job. Like what I do isn't real. She laughs, but there's an edge to it. Like keeping someone's home clean and organized isn't valuable. I know exactly what you mean, I say. The worst part is the kids, Paula continues. Not all of them, but some. They grow up with so much and they start to think the people who serve them are beneath them. They forget that we're people too, that we have lives and dreams and feelings. Chelsea forgot, I say quietly. Or maybe she never knew. I tried so hard to give her everything. I think I forgot to teach her gratitude. You're teaching her now, Paula says. That's what matters. I take a sip of my coffee. It's lukewarm now. Bitter. I hope so. I really do. We talk for another hour about our kids, our jobs, our lives. Paula tells me about her husband, who's a mechanic, and her 4 daughters. All of them grown now except for Ava. I tell her about Marcus, about the accident, about raising Chelsea alone. It feels good to talk to someone who understands, who doesn't judge, who just listens. When we finally leave the diner, it's almost 10 p.m. Paula walks me to my car and gives me a hug. Thank you for tonight, I say. Thank you, she says. It's nice to meet someone who gets it. If you ever need anything, I know where to find you, Paula says with a smile. Take care, Lorraine. You too. I drive home slowly, taking the long way, listening to the Catholic radio station. There's a program on about forgiveness, about how it's not just for the person who wronged you, but for yourself. About how holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I think about Chelsea, about the last few days, about how angry I was, how hurt. But I also think about the look on her face tonight, the way she smiled when she saw me, the way she said, I love you, like she really meant it. Forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's not pretending the hurt didn't happen. It's choosing to let go of the weight so you can move forward. And maybe, just maybe, I'm ready to do that. When I get home, the house is dark and quiet. I turn on the lights, kick off my shoes, and collapse onto the couch. My phone buzzes in my purse. I pull it out and see a text from Chelsea. Chelsea, having so much fun. Thank you for letting me go, and thank you for coming to pictures. It meant everything. Love you. I smile and type back, love you too, baby. Have fun. Be safe. I set the phone down and lean back against the cushions, closing my eyes. I think about all the years I've spent working, sacrificing, giving everything I have to make sure Chelsea had a better life than I did, and maybe I went too far. Maybe I gave her so much that she forgot to appreciate it. But tonight, she remembered. Tonight, she learned. And maybe that's all I can ask for. Chelsea comes home around 2:30 a.m. I'm still awake, sitting in the living room with a cup of tea, when I hear her key in the lock. She comes in quietly, trying not to wake me, but when she sees me on the couch, she smiles. Hey, I thought you'd be asleep. Couldn't sleep. How was it? It was perfect. She sits down next to me, still in her dress, and kicks off Ava's 2 big shoes. We danced until my feet hurt, and then we danced some more. And I won prom queen. You did? She nods, grinning. I know, right? I didn't think I would, but I did. I'm so proud of you. Thanks, Mom. She leans her head on my shoulder. You know what the best part was, though? What? When they announced my name and I went up to get the crown, I thought about you, about everything you did to get me here, and I wasn't ashamed. I was proud. Proud of you. Proud of where I come from. Proud of who I am because of you. My throat tightens, and I feel tears prick my eyes. Chelsea, I mean it, she says. I know I messed up. I know I hurt you. But I'm going to do better. I'm going to be better. I promise. I wrap my arm around her and pull her close. I know you will. We sit like that for a long time, mother and daughter, in the quiet of our small house in Columbus, Ohio. Outside, the world keeps turning. The sun will rise in a few hours, and Monday I'll go back to work, back to cleaning hallways and bathrooms and classrooms. But tonight, right now, everything is exactly as it should be. Hey, Mom? Chelsea says quietly. Yeah? Next time there's a school event, I want you to come. Not just to pictures, to everything. I want people to meet you, to know you, because you're amazing, and I'm not going to hide that anymore. I kiss the top of her head. Okay, baby. I'll be there. Promise? Promise. We sit together in the dim light of the living room, and for the first time in a long time, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Peace. 3 months later. It's the last day of school, and I'm cleaning out my supply closet when Mr. Daniels, the assistant principal, stops by. Lorraine, got a minute? Of course. I set down the box I'm holding and wipe my hands on my pants. I wanted to talk to you about next year. We're expanding the custodial staff, and we need someone to oversee the team. It comes with a raise and a title change, facilities supervisor. I think you'd be perfect for it. I stare at him, stunned. You want me to be a supervisor? You've been here 15 years, Lorraine. You know this building better than anyone. You're reliable, hardworking, and the staff respects you. It's a no-brainer. I don't know what to say. Say yes, he says with a smile. I think about it for exactly 3 seconds. Yes, absolutely yes. Great. We'll talk details next week, but I wanted to give you a heads up. Congratulations, Lorraine. You've earned it. He walks away, and I stand there in the closet, surrounded by mops and buckets and bottles of cleaner, and I feel tears streaming down my face. But they're not sad tears. They're happy ones. I pull out my phone and call Chelsea. She's at orientation for Ohio State. She got in with a partial scholarship and financial aid, but she answers on the second ring. Hey, Mom, what's up? I got promoted, I say, my voice shaking. What? Mom, that's amazing. Tell me everything. I tell her, and she screams so loud I have to hold the phone away from my ear. We talk for 10 minutes, and when we finally hang up, I'm smiling so wide my cheeks hurt. I go back to work, finishing out my last tasks of the school year. But everything feels different now, lighter. Like I've been carrying a weight for so long, I forgot what it felt like to stand up straight. As I lock up the supply closet for the summer and head out to my car, I see the cardinal again. It's perched on the fence near the parking lot, watching me with its bright black eyes. I stop and look at it for a moment, and I think about Marcus, about how he used to say cardinals were good luck. Maybe you were right, I whisper. The bird tilts its head, then spreads its wings and flies away, a streak of red against the blue summer sky. I get in my car, turn on the radio, and drive home. And for the first time in a very long time, I believe that everything is going to be okay. The day before prom, my daughter said I embarrassed the family for working as a janitor. The next day, without my money, she discovered that the dress and the venue wouldn't be paid for, and my phone was ringing nonstop.